I wound up getting up a couple of minutes ago, so I slept. I'm living a life of a retired guy. I'm getting up at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's 10 o'clock, isn't it? 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, look at that. We're live and on the air. Good morning, Michael Knight. How the heck are you?
Good morning, Vinnie. Is here in LA. Everything's overcast, but it'll be 80 degrees anyway. We can't order too many new things in the weather report, so we're going to add the overcast and the fog in the morning, but we'll keep the 80 degrees, and it'll be 80 all week, whether the sun comes out or not, because it's what we ordered and it's been delivered. It's an Amazon Prime weather report.
Well, that's good because that'll shock the Canadians into submission, I guess, right?
We're asking the Canadians to bring their bats, to bring their, and that's if America will let them bring their equipment across the border.
Well, yeah. Did you? I don't know. I didn't check this out yet, so I'm always a little
skeptical,
reticent to talk about this. But I thought it was at least funny enough that if it's a fake, it's good. But did you see that supposed Truth Social post by our Führer?
Does this have anything to do with his MRI that he said was perfect? He had an MRI done, and it's the first perfect one ever.
No, this was. Let me see if I can. It had to do with baseball. That he wouldn't be inviting either of the teams to the White House. I fucking want to go see you at the White House anyway. And that the World Series in Major League Baseball was rigged, and that they're going to investigate him. So that's how baseball woke up this morning.
The president rejects the World Series for the first time ever.
Well, it's rejected him on several occasions, so quid pro quo, right? I think it's hilarious. He's such a pussy. He really is.
He's a pathetic dark creature.
I've just never met such a soft guy. He's so soft.
What does he expect his followers to gain from him hating baseball and rejecting the winners, whoever they may be, denying them their visit to the White House? Or the ballroom, actually. It's called the ballroom now.
Yeah, he's just so soft. I've just never seen a I've just never seen a leader of the free world or of any world for that matter.
His world is not free. No one gets by free in his world. Everybody pays high freight plus a tariff, unless you're Chinese, and the Chinese tell him what to do, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's what I had in mind all along." Who said tariffs? I never mentioned tariffs. You guys go without them. Go with the light. Be fruitful and multiply, and don't worry about those tariffs. That's for Bosnia and Slovakia and Ecuador. They have to pay. You guys, why didn't you call? You should have called. I could have gotten you out of that deal. Who said that you were going to pay tariffs? Me? Make the Chinese pay tariffs? How would I do that? How would I accomplish that? Forget about it. That's madness. It's nuts. Forget about it.
Yeah, it's just a sick. It's just It's just a soft. I mean, I just hope the rest of the world doesn't think that the Americans, as soft as we are, aren't as soft as him. He's in the old days, you'd say he's like a little girl, but I don't know little girls that are that soft. I don't know any little girls that get so offended anytime anybody doesn't grovel at his feet. And you know, I know, I used to feel bad for people that supported him and tried to spread his bullshit all over the place. And now I just think that they're just they're mentally deficient. If you want to talk about mental deficiencies, people that are that look at him and think that he's doing a great job are mentally deficient. Does he do one or two things, one, two, or three things right sometimes? Yeah. Even a stop clock is right 2 times a day.
But only 2 times a day, not all day long.
But that's only one minute out of however many minutes there are in a day. I mean, go calculate it. It's just it's sickening. It's ridiculous. It's almost unbelievable, and it's hard to believe.
It's impossible for me as a Californian to believe that this is our leader. This is where we're being led, and this is how we're being led. These are the elements of leadership. These are the most important things for a president to do every day is to rag on the World Series and say, whoever wins, they're not coming to the White House. I'm not inviting anybody. I'm telling you right now. The Dodgers are from California. I hate California. The Blue Jays are from Canada, and we're at war with Canada. So why would I even bother? Why would I even discuss it?
Well, in any kind of world, what would have been? Okay, well, let's just think about this for a second. What would be his desire in this event? Okay, so it's the Toronto Blue Jays, who are from Canada, so they're going to represent Canada. And it's the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are from California, so they're going to represent not only the United States, but the Soviet Republic of California. So what would he have wanted to happen? Would he have wanted the Commissioner of Baseball, Rob Manfred, or as we call him around our house, No Balls Manfred? Would he wanted him to have stepped in and appoint 2 different teams from the United States?
It's like that's what the Commissioner of Baseball likes to do. That it's time for the World Series. I will appoint the teams that are going to play.
Right. Would he? What would be his desire? What would be his end result? What would make him happy? I mean, I don't even get anything. Now you got the World Baseball Classic coming up in next year sometime. I think it's in spring. I'm sure he doesn't even know about that, but if he does know about it, he'll be all over that with the Go USA and all of that crap.
Wait till the FIFA Cup comes in a couple of years.
Well, he's already talked about that.
Yeah, he's going to pull it out of LA.
About the World Cup and how he, that he might not let certain teams in. So he's going to politicize sports, and which is why that tweet or whatever it is that screed on Truth Social or whatever it is absolutely believable, even if it's not true. It's believable. It takes a guy like me who vets the stuff that he talks about pretty seriously and says that sounds about right. So even if it's not true, it's what's in his whatever passes for a heart in his chest.
His heart, his most sincere feelings are dark and.
I don't think he has sincere feelings, Michael. I don't think he has a sincere feeling in his body. I don't think anything in his orbit is sincere. I don't think he loves his children. I don't think he loves his wife. They're all transactions. It's all a transaction. Everything is, what are you going to do for me, and what am I going to get out of you? And it better be 90-10 my favor. So somebody asked me yesterday, why am I rooting for Canada in the World Series? Why am I, and I said, I couldn't, I want to see Canada win. I want to see them beat us, because it's not the United States versus Canada. It's Canada versus Donald Trump. And he's made it that way. So
I too am rooting for the Blue Jays, just so everyone knows. My feelings go back a little further, go back to 1959, 58, when the Dodgers and the Giants moved from New York to Los Angeles and San Francisco. I became a Giants fan, and that settled my relationship with the Dodgers on that day for all days to come. Now, you can say I hate the Dodgers. That's too easy. They are my opponent. They are my official opposite. Whatever I am in this world, the Dodgers are the opposite of that. Doesn't matter that Shohei Ohtani is a great player. Doesn't matter that Yamamoto has pitched 2 complete games back to back, which is insane to think about. No one would have predicted that. Of all the things that happened, of all the things that have happened in baseball this year, that's the craziest right there. In the World Series.
Yeah, it's not quite Johnny Vandermeer, but it's damn close.
It's off the chart as far as the accomplishment. Back to back. It's in, I don't know when's the last time a pitcher in the major leagues pitched 2 complete games back to back. When's the last time that's happened?
In 2 starts, I don't know that it's happened. Well, you'd have to delineate, you'd have to put a line somewhere, because believe it or not, kids, and you could look it up, pitching 2 complete games back to back
was expected of you.
2 consecutive complete games in a rotation was pretty common when we were growing up, when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't that far in front of me. So, it wasn't something that at that time, like if you had said that in the days of Juan Marichal and Steve Carlton and Sandy Koufax and all of those, that era of pitchers, that up until the middle 70s, you wouldn't have gotten it wouldn't have been a thing.
No, the fact in those days, if I was starting the game and Vinnie got a couple hits and got me out of the game in the 5th inning, the headline would be Vinnie gets the night. Vinnie drives the starter out of the game. 5 innings now is considered a good effort, and if you're close to 80 pitches, that's all you're going to throw anyway. Yamamoto, strangely enough, in that wonderful pitching exhibition that he put on, was an economical pitcher. Besides being impossible to hit, besides being the winning pitcher, besides doing the whole game in fine fashion, the Blue Jays could not find a way to put the bat on the ball. They could not solve his stuff, and it was a fascinating show because of the mastery with which he held them in check and retired the last 20 men that he faced. And when you retire 20 in a row at the World Series level under the pressure of that type of ball playing, it's really an achievement that can't be minimized. You can't understand anything about the professional game of baseball without being able to admire the extraordinary performance. And then to try to belittle that by saying that whoever wins this thing, you're not coming to the White House. I don't want to meet you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want you around this place. But by the way, there's no place to put you anyway because I'm building a ballroom. We're not seeing anybody until that's complete. And
well, let me interrupt you for a second.
yeah,
I am looking at several websites, sports websites that are saying, excuse me, that are saying that the posts are fake posts. So, evidently, they're 2 fake screenshots. But as I said when I spoke about it, it sounds like something that he would say. And this is something that we're all going to have to be careful of in the future. At the very least, we're going to have to say, I saw this and I don't know that it's true or not. You can't just go on and say, well, I saw boom, boom, and this is a fact. But according to Sportskita, which is a website that I know at least has some credibility because I know a pretty good baseball writer, John Parado, that was working there. So it appears that at least has some degree of credibility because Parado is a credible guy. But still, the fact remains that he turns all of this stuff into us and them because the only way you can survive is having us and them. So take everything you hear about this World Series and about what politicians and everybody else are saying about it with a grain of salt. But it is not beyond the realm of possibility. And getting back to what you were saying about Yamamoto's pitching, I mean, it's off the chart. I mean, again, we haven't seen anything like this in 20 years, 25 years, more, 30 years. Enjoy it because this is, everybody's talking about Ohtani, and this guy seems to be a talent that comes along, once in a generation as well.
And the funny thing about Yamamoto and Ohtani as pitchers, Shohei Ohtani has 7 pitches that he has mastered. Yeah. 7, not 3, not 2, not 1, but 7. Name a starting pitcher who has 7 pitches. I can't. I haven't heard of it since Juan Marichal. Haven't heard of that. And Juan Marichal threw the screwball of all people.
There was somebody. Boy, I can't remember even which team it was on, but there was somebody that they were talking about, an American pitcher maybe it was somebody. Geez, I have to think about it for a couple seconds. But there was somebody that Smoltz was in I guess it had to be the ALCS. That Smoltz was in awe of because he had mastered 6 pitches, I think. And so he had mastery of 6 pitches. He wasn't on the Mariners, I know that. So he was either on the Blue Jays or maybe the Tigers. But he was chatting him up as an unbelievable phenomenon that had, an American pitcher that had the ability to pitch, similar to Japanese pitchers, to do things that Now, I know that the Japanese leagues pitch a different way. They where traditionally American pitchers come at you with the heat and then finesse you. I remember observing in many cases and then talking to hitters when guys like Sasaki and Nomo and those guys came into the leagues that they were setting hitters up the exact opposite. They came at you with the soft stuff and then hit you with the hard stuff. And so I don't know if that's what's going on here. I don't remember anybody ever saying that any of those had that kind of juice to it, that anybody was throwing out 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, how many number of pitches that a pitcher had in his repertoire.
there was something to be said about the difference between some of the Blue Jays pitchers that took the mound and couldn't hold the Dodgers off, issuing walks, not being able to throw strikes when they had to. And that drives me crazy when a pitcher comes to the mound in a situation where he has to perform. It's the goddamn World Series, and you can't throw a strike. It is the most frustrating thing to witness that you'll find. Walking in runs, filling the bases, giving talented teams a leg up, giving them base runners, giving them opportunities, forcing the situation, and meeting that challenge by not being able to throw strikes. If I were a manager and you tried to make your living as a pitcher in the American League or National League, and your claim to fame was that in pressure situations you couldn't find the strike zone, how long do you think you'd stay working in that line of work? How
Well,
long
it purely depends on I mean, I think that it would depend on how many times you did that before. Was this a situation? I mean, I could see somebody succumbing to pressure in that situation once. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. But boy, oh boy, uh, you know, to see it done on a consistent basis. I mean, at some point, it's your bad for putting them out there, right?
Well, now that's a good point. Yes, it's who made it. Who sent him to the mound? I did.
Yeah, I mean, or your pitching coach told you that he was not ready to, he was ready to go when in fact he wasn't ready to go.
Well, we'll find out about Max Scherzer. He's had an up and down season. He's had injuries and some difficulties. His last appearance was a great one. Let's find out if he's got it tonight, because he's the starter, and the Blue Jays need a top flight performance to hold LA's bats in check. And I'll tell you a guy to watch out for. It's been this way for the last 3 years. Tommy Edman, the second baseman.
Yeah.
When there's something going on the field, damn if he's not always involved. He gets the hits. He punches the ball through. He finds a way to be annoying and to be consistent and to get on base and to drive in runs and to be part of a rally. So if there's a couple men on and nobody out and Tommy Edman is coming to the bat, I always worry as much as if it was Shohei Ohtani, because that guy is always part of the problem. There's always a guy like that. Vinnie, can't hear you. Can't hear you. Cannot hear you.
Yeah, we were chatting about him. It just automatically shut off.
Good.
Yeah, this thing has been this whole StreamYard system has been a pain in the ass the last week or so. I don't know if they're having problems or not, but somebody's having a problem because it's shut off once on me. It's been a disaster. It won't upload. Anyway, I don't want to go into my technical problems. I have to figure that out. He's just that we have pegged him, or you had actually, not me. I followed along for the ride, but you had kind of pegged him as the guy to watch in the last series. That he was that name, in the realm of Brian Doyle and Buddy Biancalana, and
Yes.
all of those different guys who you have no idea who they are, but they step up on the stage. The opposite of the guys who go out there and crap the bed when the pressure's on. They don't feel any pressure. They just go out there and they swing the bat and they punch the ball through, or they hit a home run at the right time, or they find some way to make themselves a hero. And and they wind up getting 6,000 car dealer commercials for the local car. Everybody wants him to do their supermarket opening, or whatever it is that is. Whatever the sales department is out pushing, he's the guy they're pushing because he's the man of the people. He's the man of the hour, the man of the people. And Edmund seems to be, and he also looks like an unlikely guy to do it.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman looks like he's going to beat you. Freddie Freeman looks at you, and there's a feeling that you have that he's going to beat you. Go down the list of players throughout the years. There's guys on a team that always look like they're gonna box your ears in somehow, some way. They're the Marshall Crenshaws of the World Series. Somehow, some way, someday, some way, they're gonna whack you. But the Tommy Edmonds of the world, they don't seem to have that appearance about them, but yet. There you are in their third time up, and they're 3 for 3, or their fourth time up. They're coming up to the plate 3 for 3 with 4 ribbies, and the game-winning RBI, or the game the RBI that put your team ahead, and all of a sudden a new hero is born.
Yeah, he's got that potential.
He's the guy that Letterman would have on the Monday after the series ended.
Playing catch on Broadway.
Right, playing catch on 52nd Street or 53rd Street. Yeah, the Letterman guy is the perfect. And Tommy Edmond, not also save for the fact that every time I hear the guy's name, I'm sitting here going, many a tear has to fall. It's Tommy Edwards, but it sounds like Edmund. It's close enough.
And that's the lesson that we learned from baseball. No matter how much you love the game, it'll make you cry sooner or later.
Yeah, it's like love. It's like love, or it's like parenthood, or so many things in life. It has an emotion. It has an emotional hook inside of you. And it will, without a doubt, at some point in its run, make you feel horrible. It make you feel grand, but they'll be, look out because it's coming.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, and it's not going to. You can't avoid it. You can't run from it. You can't hide.
No.
There's the, how many, people are there that love Chauncey Billups, but yet, they're brokenhearted because, Chauncey has, apparently created quite a mess for himself.
He went to the dark side, and I covered Chauncey when he played for the Clippers, and the impression that I got was that he was a journeyman. A workaholic, a contributor, an action guy.
Yeah.
And there was nothing dark about his reputation at the time that I recall whatsoever. So what happened in the ensuing years? Well, he got into coaching, for starters. He had the talent to transfer his playing talents to coaching talents, and to be with a competitive West Coast team. What went wrong? Who lured him to the dark side? Was it the gambling addiction that we've heard so much about?
It was you, Michael. It was you. You did
it. Could have been me. It could have been me. I might have said something I didn't mean to say, and it turned him to the dark side.
To the guy, and next thing you know, he's riding around the back of limousines with the
Gambino family,
sketchy mafia figures. But yeah, that NBA seems to have a bit of a pickle on their hands too. I mean, not to go off of the World Series stuff, but they seem to have a bit of a problem, shall we say?
Why did this gambit of gambling and sports pick basketball? What was about basketball that made it more leaning toward the idea that the basketball players would gamble shave points, turn the grand idea of fair play into a gambling routine. What was it about basketball that drew crime and criminals to that sport?
Because it's been done before.
It's easier to shave points in basketball. Easier to affect the game with bad shots or bad calls.
Yeah, I don't know, Michael. I mean, that's an interesting question. Is it, does the game or does the people playing the game? I mean, it's easy, and I'm sure that, somebody's going to go, well, there's a predominant amount of black people in the game, and they're corrupt anyway, and that's the kind of stuff that you'll hear from uneducated, stupid people. But I'm sure that will be the thinking of some people, which is the furthest thing from the truth. But they'll try to be some linkage there from the people that need to link those kind of things together to make their case. I'm sure there are Republican point producers. What am I trying to say? Political writers that are trying to fashion that narrative already. Because that's how they run. That's how they operate. They see blame the immigrants for the country's woes, because the largest pool of stupid people will believe you, and it's much easier to get that point across than it is to try to actually do some work and figure out what it is. Money corrupts people, man. I mean, that's really kind of what it is, I think. I don't care, black, white, green, orange, whatever color you are. Money has a way.
If you are green or orange, you should call your doctor.
Well, you're a pumpkin. If you're green and orange this week, I wouldn't worry too much, especially because I'm wearing orange shorts with a green shirt. I wouldn't get too out of whack about green and orange this week. But if you're green and orange on November 5th,
have been checked out.
Go to the emergency room. Go check yourself out. But I think that's what they'll generally try to, in my experience, try to tie together. And evidently, for a large amount of the American people, it works. Because there's, I've already seen and heard some pretty stupid stuff being repeated and being talked about, and being screamed on the airwaves and on the computer airwaves and all of that stuff. It's an easy target. It's an easy place to point a finger. So,
by the way, the NBA is deeply disturbed by these revelations.
Well,
I want you to know that.
Well, Michael, listen, how many times did, when we were doing the show in Seattle on KJR, did you and other people and myself sometimes and all of us, scream, there's something that's going on here that doesn't seem right. This thing seems rigged. I don't think there was ever a racial overtone to it. I think it was just they had incompetent referees who seemed to have a different interpretation of the game that was presented in the 1993-94 edition of the NBA rulebook. And that brought a that just brought something different to the table. But it's an easy, that's the sad thing about this country, I think. And I don't, listen, take everything I say with a grain of salt too. Or a grain of pepper if you're on a low salt diet is that race is like in this country is the easiest thing to point a finger at. It's the easiest thing to get people excited because there is um, this perception, especially among white men in our age category, in our age and our demographic, that feel that um, Hispanics and African Americans and people who are darker than them are getting everything, and we're getting nothing. Which I think is could be the furthest thing from the truth. I don't
The
stand in front of offices and take a survey, but if you sit in a bar and talk to somebody, or talk to a group of people, or eavesdrop on conversations, you're going to pick up on that kind of crap. You're going to hear it, even if you're not part of the conversation. So, I don't know. And we have a president that will feed into it, that will hold their hand and support them in feeling that way. Sad. Very sad.
and I'd like to know what Mike Johnson has to say about the NBA because he's my connection to reality. If I can't get my truth out of Mike Johnson, what kind of world is this? I can't believe that in this world that we live in, the Speaker of the House can just not swear in the new members of the Congress. They don't become official because he won't swear them in. No one can find him or persuade him or convince him that this is the way to go. He's just not doing it. And it's been 3 weeks of constant, Mike Johnson today won't swear in the person. Yeah, well, and the alternative is what? The alternative is we just stand in line outside of his office and say, please swear her in so that we can have a vote. And he says, I will. Of course I will, but not today. And also, don't ask me tomorrow because I won't do it tomorrow. I'm Mike Johnson. I'm worried about the NBA gambling thing right now. I can't swear in new members of the Congress. I can't convince myself to take that step. I've been told not to do it, and I won't do it. No one can persuade me to do it. No one can convince me or cajole me or drive me to the point where I have to swear in this person. I'm just going to put it off indefinitely. And what are you going to do about it? Nothing.
Yeah, where is he? I mean, if an election is certified, is it? And evidently there isn't. But shouldn't there be some kind of mechanism that says after a certain amount of time that you haven't been sworn in, that you're just in? You just go and get your office and sit down and start taking phone calls. You've been duly elected. The electors in your state have certified your election, that it's official. There's no fraud that's been proven. I don't even think there's been any fraud even accused.
Hasn't been suggested. It's just they're just not going to do it. Yeah, you're illegal. You're good. The race was legal. It was clean. The votes were counted. We're not disputing that. We're just not going to swear you in. So don't misunderstand this. Nothing went wrong with the system until it got to my desk, and then the system actually ground to a halt. Not swearing in. You're not official.
This guy he is such a weasel. You know, nothing bothers me more than a weasel that looks like a Boy Scout. You know, it's the worst kind of weasel. I mean, I don't mind a weasel so much that you know he knows he's a weasel. You know he's a weasel. He admits he's a weasel. You know, Newt Gingrich was a weasel, but he admitted he was a weasel. You knew it.
He had no alternative. That was the only line of work open for him, was being the weasel.
Yeah, he was a weasel, and he was almost quite proud of the fact that he was a weasel. He could live with it. He didn't care.
You hate me. I know you hate me. You hate me because I'm a weasel, and I'm a weasel because you hate me. And let that be the end of it.
Right. I mean, it's almost like catch 24. You know, it's like, okay, it's going to go round and round. It's not going to change. But this Mike Johnson guy, he comes out and tries to act like he's got the interest of the American people in his heart. And he's trying to do the country a favor and save us all from
The rule of law.
what is he trying to save us from?
our imaginations. He doesn't want us thinking about this too much. Follow me. I got this covered. I'm doing what the president wants. The president's doing what I want. We're both doing what the country absolutely needs and desires. Just stick with us. We got this covered.
Yeah, it's it's so horribly twisted that it sounds, in this guy's case, plausible. It sounds like, that could be.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's the way it looks.
Item number 5.
Item number 5 is that they're not even in session. The members of the majority, the Republicans of the GOP, who can vote on any matter and always win because the Democrats have the minority, are not in service right now. The government shut down. They've been told to leave town. They don't have to go home. They can go to Bimini if they want, but they can't stay up in here, as the phrase goes. You don't have to go home. You just can't stay up in here.
Yeah.
Well,
the spot that was made, by the way, Bimini, quite popular by the Adam Clayton Powell travel agency of the mid-'60s.
It's a good agency. If you needed a sunny place for a couple of weeks, the Adam Clayton Powell travel agency was the place to go.
Well, it was such a nice place that they named the boulevard that the travel agency was on after Adam Clayton Powell.
And you had to take the cigarette boat out to the pier. There was a chance that the American forces would get you from the air with those air to ocean surface missiles. That's still a factor. They don't talk about it a lot, but on your way to Bimini, you may be set upon by the Air Force.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want those rockets, man. Once they come near your boat, they have all the stuff that defines it.
And cigarette boats are great for going in a straight line. They don't evade missiles very well.
Right, they don't miss. They go where they're going, and they're easily detected and easily photographed, obviously. I don't know if it's the same film, just photoshopped, or it's different film that they're using, or different boats. To me, it looks all suspiciously like the same film, color tinted, or somehow, changed enough that it looks like a different boat.
Why does it always distort to super bright when the boat disappears? Can't we get a better definition of the actual boat splintering into pieces?
We can spot a pimple on the ass of Osama bin Laden in a basement bunker in a sand trap 3,787 miles from nowhere.
Down a spider hole.
We could find Saddam Hussein living in a sewer under the busiest intersection in Baghdad. But we can't get on an open ocean with nothing else around for miles except other American warplanes. We can't get a clear shot of who we're shooting.
The same week that Donald Trump wants to sign the peace treaty between Cambodia and who the hell are they? Thailand?
I forget who it even was. I mean, I didn't know that they needed a peace treaty. It seemed to me that things were going fairly well over there, right?
Well, that's because of Donald Trump's peace initiatives.
Is that one of the trouble spots in the world out of the 7 that he's identified?
He knew that there was no trouble. That's why it was so easy to cut a deal with these people. And it was a shock to them they were at war, so it was a relief to them that they were now at peace.
Well, that's when you make friends. When you make friends with Donald J. Trump. When you make friends with Donald J. Trump, you wouldn't want to miss that J. These are the things that happen to you.
Can we call him Donnie from Queens, or is that just not enough respect for the?
It's okay by me. Call him anything you want.
Well, your favorite is President Slapdick.
Yes, President Slapdick. I love that. I haven't used that enough lately. Well, I've been trying to, a friend of mine, I had a conversation with with a very good friend of mine that I've known for years and years and years, since we hung out and used to hang out in the lobby at Genovese Drugs um, in on 82nd Street when it was cold out and we had no place to hang. And it'd be 6 or 8 or 10 of us hanging out in the lobby trying to stay warm. Um, and she said, listen, and she likes Trump. She's one of those friends that my love for her overrides her political views. There are people that are like that in your life, whether they be 1 or 2 or 3. But anyway, and she said, you feel like you feel, but when you call a guy slapdick, it sounds seemly. It doesn't even sound right if I was against Trump. And I said, well, maybe you got a point, maybe. But then I stopped it for a while, and then I started again, and I stopped, and I just haven't been talking about him that much. I really make a conscious effort every day not to look at him, not to talk about him, to try to make this 3 years and however long that's in front of us go by as quickly as possible. I don't want to give him any space in my brain, which I'm finding to be virtually impossible.
Well, today he took up this space in my brain, and that was his MRI at the hospital. He had his government ordered physical, but they sent him back to get the MRI. And I want to know what they scanned and what they thought they saw and what the results were. And we'll never know the answer to those questions.
I'm almost afraid to ask. Because it had to be like the MRI machines were talking among themselves. And how incredible an MRI it was.
The most incredible MRI ever taken. The cleanest, most distinct MRI ever produced. An MRI like you've never seen before.
And the strange thing is he believes this shit.
Yeah. Oh God, yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is the strange thing is he like looks at this and says that, oh yeah, this is true. Doesn't matter if he's right or he's wrong or it's true or it's false or what. His has to be the best. His has to be the most well put together. It has to be, anything that he touches, anything that he has anything to do with has to be better than anybody else's.
But not really truly better. They just say it's better. They just assume it's better. They just talk about it like it's better. But in reality, it hardly exists at all. It's not there. The pieces are never there to make it reality.
Right, because nobody wants to insult the king. Nobody wants to incur the wrath of the king. Nobody wants to look better than the king. Nobody wants to.
You better not.
Yeah, because the consequences are not good. You will find yourself in that spot where you never want to be. Not just you, but your family, your friends.
Remember his closest friend. His closest friend was Elon Musk, who we used to call Leon. And he's off the planet now. He has no influence. He's actually in danger of losing his SpaceX NASA contract because he's not able to provide rockets on the schedule that they need to go to the moon.
Yeah.
And so they're going to take bids from other people now. Let other people with rocket companies play ball. Doesn't have to be Leon. And he's completely flummoxed by this. He said, "I thought we had a deal. I was going to do
Yeah.
what I wanted with the Mars project and the Moon project, and do it in my own time and do it when I feel like it. What's this bullshit about competition and taking bids and going through the system to the advantage of the people instead of the advantage of me, Leon, your best friend?" Well, Leon, you got to know that you're not my best friend anymore.
Yeah.
The money got in the way, the deal got in the way, the power got in the way. You were too popular.
Yeah.
You had to go.
You committed the mortal sin of
You got bigger than the big guy.
speaking a truth. And that truth was not
Never
President
welcome.
Slapdick's truth.
Never welcome. The truth is not part of the deal. The truth is not part of the daily pursuit of government.
You had a fit of honesty.
Yeah, you gonna make it.
You called it like you saw it, and that
And
doesn't work.
you said my name was in the Epstein files. Besides, apparently you've seen them.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't.
yeah. You're really, you're really committed. I mean, you committed a sin that there is no. Catholics, the club that I belong to, we believe that there is no sin for which you can't find forgiveness for. That is why, capital murderers ask for a priest as they're walking to the death house, because they believe that
the sins all have prices.
that you can say that you can find forgiveness if you are truly sorry for what you did. That God will see that and forgive your sin.
They cut you a deal.
Literally. And there isn't any of that in Trump world. In the United Church of Trump, there's no deal. If you step on the boss's shiny shoes, you better make sure that you have shoe polish on the bottom of your soles.
Not sure what that means, but I'm sure it's important.
Well, that you leave no marks. You leave them as clean as you found them. That nobody can detect that you stepped on the upper leather of the finest shoes in the world.
The finest shoes the world has ever seen. The world has never seen a pair of shoes like that. No.
Since Guglielmo shoe invented the shoe, there's been no better shoe.
And that was a good day for him. He never had a
well,
he
day like the that. Day he got into shoe business. So anyway,
really big shoe.
Really big shoe. And it has nothing to do with Elizabeth's shoe.
Shoe fly don't bother me.
Yeah, what happened to her? Anyway, so there's nothing you can do about that, Michael. There's no place that you can pull him out and say that this is going to be okay. It's not going to be okay.
It's not going to be okay.
As
I've been telling you for years now, it's all going to end in tragedy. And it won't just be tragedy for Trump, it'll be tragedy for each of us.
Yeah, it has been in many ways. That prediction that you made nigh on to, I think, the moment after the election, first election,
right.
Has rung true several times over. You can find many people that will that have been hurt, and it doesn't seem like class or stature or anything. Whether you've contributed to him or not contributed, whether you're a relative, his kid, his mother, his father, anybody has been untouched by this whirlwind of destruction and damage. And whatever
And
it is,
there's no end in sight. No one seems to be able to stop him or check him or correct him.
I don't see it. Do you? Do you see any? I don't see a scenario
The first
where
step's coming on election day. I hope everyone realizes what an important election this is. It's off season. It's not everywhere. It's measuring resentment and a desire for a new direction in a number of states, Virginia, California, a few others.
New Jersey.
And that's the first thing that we have to look for as a turning, the will of the people telling the president no.
And I don't know how. I'm not exactly sure that the will of the people will be heard anyway. Because
just say it's a ruse. Those votes are.
It seems to me to be an election that can be. They're trying their damnedest, their hardest to rig it to whatever way the people vote. It'll come out the way that they want it to come out, not the way not the truth. Not the truth. That's not the way we want it to come out, not the way you want, not the way him. No. What is the truth? And again, if you study this, the German stuff from the 20s and 30s, the whole idea is to create mistrust in the process.
You can't have any faith in the process. It can't be legitimate. It can't be real.
Don't give them any reason to believe that the process is true and that your vote is actually means something, because that will cause people to not trust the process, and the ones that do trust the process will make them fearful of showing up to the polls, to register, to vote, to make their voices heard.
Which is why he wanted federal troops in all the major cities to nail down the insurrection. Well, to put aside that dark scenario for just a second, who you picking tonight in the World Series, Game 3?
I got, I'm gonna go with the, every bone in my body says to pick the Dodgers because they're coming home. They're going to have the home crowd. So the best you can hope for is that it's a tie game in the 7th inning and everybody hits the parking lot. And by the time they get any kind of action going in the 8th or the 9th, there's nobody left in the ballpark except the security people. But I've been around enough to know that that's a far-fetched, a possible, but a far-fetched. So I'm probably going to go with the Dodgers whip one here. We'll lose the rest of the way.
Mad Max Scherzer is pitching for the Blue Jays, and I think I'm going to have to put my faith in him. If you want to win the World Series, you got to win the first game. They've done that. Now it's time to win another one, and to win at home, the home of the Dodgers, that is a challenge that, once met, discourages the faithful. Let's take the fan out of the game. Let's take the crowd out of the game. Let's beat them tonight and make them wonder what their real chances of victory are going to be after a sobering defeat at home.
I hope you're right, Michael. I hope that I it's one of those things where every bone inside of your body says go this way, but every cell in your brain goes this way. And I want to see Scherzer win. I like, Scherzer. He's one of those characters. He's Casey Stengel out there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't pulled off his hat and the bird hasn't flown out from under it, or a homing pigeon or something, or a small rocket of some kind, something to ignite the crowd.
Dave Roberts with a rocket under his hat.
Yeah, something, but I also know that, we'll. I just know that it may take the Blue Jays a day to kind of get accustomed to it. You'd think that by this time that they would be able to lock in, lock down, and go, but I'm not positive that that's going to happen. So I'll give them the game. I'll give them tonight, and let them continue on, and hopefully make it a show for everybody. Make it something that we can tell the kids about. I hope. I am going to. I think if this all works out, I'm going to for, let's see, because it goes now 3 here, 3, and then 2 back in Canada.
Correct.
So I am planning on for one of those, hopefully either 6 or 7, going up to Canada to watch a game. Talk to my friend Jeremy, who used to be my producer down here in at Cairo, and he's got a wonderful sports bar not too far from his house, and he's agreed to lock his kids in the closet, and we'll enjoy a game at this sports bar, or he might bring them and get them drunk. I don't know. They do things differently in Canada. They serve them like near beer and things like that to kids. They want to get them, into it.
Comfortable with the situation.
Yeah. That's where they differ from us. Is they say, the kids are going to go out and do what they're going to do, so let's get them accustomed to what they got to get accustomed to. So, if everything goes right, I'll join him for at least a game up there next weekend, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's been a long time since I've seen a game of base in Canada, and last time I saw the wonderful Vancouver Canadiens playing the boy, I can't remember who they were playing. I have to think about
Florida Panthers.
No, like this. No. At beautiful Nat Bailey Stadium. No, a baseball game. A single A short season league. I don't think it was the Aqua Frogs or the Aqua Sox, as they or whatever they were known as back then. They, it was before everybody really got into the sticky names that they go for now. But it was a good game, and it was outdoors. But I, that's the last time I saw a baseball game in Canada. So I'm looking forward to it, and I really want to experience it from that side of the coin. I want to see what, if is the media manipulating us into thinking that there's a war between the two countries, or the countries, am I going to pull up to the customs booth, and are they going to, not let me in because I'm American, or because I got an American flag on my on my car? Some kind of. I don't think they will. I don't think that they're that petty. I don't think that they care as much as people here want you to believe that they do.
In the East Coast border between the U.S. and Canada, the research says that although Americans go into Canada, Canadians are boycotting the visits that they may have made to the United States. They're not coming here to buy anything, not coming here to gas up. They're not coming here for a vacation. They're not going to see Aunt Polly. They're telling her to come and see them instead.
Yeah. It's happening. I'm sure you're familiar with the town of Blaine and White Rock and the border towns that are just right up I-5 here. And White Rock is a very popular getaway town just over the border. It has a little beach. It's a very California-like. It almost reminds you of an Encino or, some kind of, beachy taco stand kind of town. There's a little, there's a pier and there's a railroad tracks that run right by it. It's got that vibe to it. And they're busy as all get out. Blaine, Washington, which is on this side of the Peace Arch, which is also a town that is really good for Canadians to go because everything's cheaper. They buy gas, they fill up, they get cigarettes, they buy whatever they're buying. So supermarket shopping, milk, and they come here and they bring it back across. And all the reports, and I've driven up there a couple of times, Sunday afternoon in Blaine, they're busy up until Inauguration Day of this year. Now, the gas pumps are empty. People have been laid off. People have been not leaving the country. They're driving up to the border and turning around.
Yes.
They want you to see that they're coming to the border, but they want you to see that they're not above paying more money for what they need and buying it in Canada.
Rather than giving an inch to the Americans.
American stores have stopped stocking American products.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole Buy Canada movement that is going on and being encouraged to, and not just to buy it, but to show that you bought it. To let them know that you're not spending your money, your Canadian dollars that we've made so much fun of. The opening line to the song Canadian Money by Sha Na Na is Canadian money in my pocket, quarter ain't worth a dime. It's the great songwriting of, I believe that's Scott Simon that wrote that song. They don't, they're not afraid to, where we would fold. We'll go up to White Rock. We'll sit on the beaches. We'll eat the hot dogs. We'll go for a night out, whatever. They'll fold, we'll fold like a tin, piece of tin foil.
Like a cheap card table.
Yeah. They won't, they can, they'll use both sides of the toilet paper. And, does that work?
No.
I don't know.
You think it's going to work. Invariably, you find out it doesn't.
Yeah, but it gets the point across.
Yeah. It's a concept better talked about than put into action.
Right. It's something. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm anxious to see how this dynamic is working. And
I'm anxious to see what kind of welcome the Blue Jays get in LA.
Well, I haven't heard any kind of like, there's not a, usually there's kind of like a little us and them kind of thing. And I think, I don't know that I'm getting that.
Between the mayors, and the representatives from the Canadian government would have a bet with the Americans. And
I haven't heard any bets. Have you?
The mayor of LA would have a bet with the mayor of Toronto.
Right. I haven't heard any kind of anything along those lines. I mean, it almost is like it's a, if there's a bet, it's not being publicized.
Right.
It's not being talked about enough to where somebody figures it's worth a couple of inches of space in the Toronto Star or the Seattle Times.
And I know there's got to be a sports station in Toronto that could probably have the morning show from Toronto has a bet going or some sort of a challenge going with the morning show in LA. But I haven't heard anything about that either.
Does LA have a morning sports show anymore?
Well, they have somebody on in the morning. Who knows what kind of show it is? There's the sports stations in LA are unlistenable to my ear.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I couldn't even tell. Usually you and I know exactly what stations, where everybody is,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if you know. You live there, but I have no idea where sit the. Well, the Dodgers are KMPC, right? Still
KLAC 570.
KLAC. So I mean, it's it's been years since I've paid attention.
And then ESPN is 710. KSPN.
Right. And are they Dodgers or are they Angels?
The Angels are on a small station out of Orange County. Their radio deal is for shit. The Dodgers are on KLAC
broadcasting school.
Right.
Where
they've taken a page from the A's media insignificance plan. we have a media presence, but it's insignificant.
They went from being on a blowtorch to remember at one point they were on, which something they had done in the 80s, I believe, being on the University of California at Berkeley radio station KALX, which I'm a proud alumni of. My first press pass was from KALX. Calix, 90.7. Matter of fact, do I have it? Anyway, well, it'll be very interesting to see.
5 o'clock today.
5 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Don't miss it. Have you listened or watched the games?
Yes. Both of them.
No, have you listened or watched, or have you done a combination?
I just watch.
I've listened and watched. The ESPN radio crew, which is the national, is
Is it John Shambi?
Yeah, I think it is John Shambi. It might be Edwin. I forget the guy that was going to be the manager of the Mets, and then they found out he was cheating, so they rescinded his offer. The Canadian team is pretty good. The Sportsnet, I think they call it up there. Their team is actually pretty good, and Smoltz and the other guy, they don't. I mean, Smoltz brings some technical to the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it's nothing I haven't heard before.
I just see a Brave. I just see an Atlanta Brave from the years when I didn't like them, and that's all I see.
Yeah, I just don't get. There's nothing. There's no Vince Scully up there. There's no.
And there's this
nobody.
concept. There's this idea with Schmaltz that we played a better game than this. When I was a pitcher, when the Braves were hot, we played better than this. We knew what to do. We wouldn't have fallen for that.
I hard to disagree with that, though, Michael. I mean, I think he's right. If that's his statement, if that's his feeling, I think the game was better. I think the game took an immediate dive downhill with the Smokey Burgess rule.
Well, we're going
And
to
even
have
though
to
they
find out
don't
what
use
it's going to be like next year with the automatic umpires.
right. Are they going to use that in the postseason? Have they made a decision on that yet?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's something. I think that's because really, if you don't, I mean, if you go to that length, which they are, then why even have umpires at all? It all can be done electronically now. Why waste the salaries? Donate the money to some poor people. Doesn't make a lot of sense to have somebody out there. They can get hurt.
Somebody's going to get an eye put out.
Somebody's going to get a ball right in the eye. And we don't know how they're going to get it yet, but they're going to get it.
They're going to get it.
They're going to get it. Anything else in
Vinnie,
the world going on that we need to?
I think Trump's in the Far East, and he's getting another MRI while he's there. And it's going to be an MRI like you've never seen before.
Well, they got those places on the road from the airport to downtown.
Yeah, you pull over and get an MRI.
Yeah, you don't even have to get out of the car.
You can get a patty melt and an MRI.
Pre-done MRIs.
Yeah, how do you want? You tell them what sort of result you want, and they've got that ready for you. They'll give you the result you need.
Right, our special sympathy practice, a sympathy package, that'll give you 3 films, MRI films, of parts of your body that will garner you the most sympathy. You pull these out in any bar, at any hotel, at any in any hotel in the continental United States, and you're guaranteed to to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish.
But we've talked
Free
all the
drinks,
nonsense.
free girls.
There you go. Let that be our mantra for the rest of the day. Free drinks, free girls. And we'll see you on Wednesday for a Wacky Wednesday.
Yes, we will have a couple of games under the belt and a possible direction of which way this is going to go. And at the very least, just one more quick thing before we fly. Just the sad news of Nick Mangold passing away. The popular, a reminder of when the Jets had some semblance of players on their team. Problem was that they went out and they won yesterday, did the Jets, after hearing of Mangold's death.
Did.
So now Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, has struck an order that some Jets should die every week to try to get him to a 500 record.
You got a point there, Woody.
Yeah, and if Dick Young were alive, he'd be in total agreement.
Yeah.
Just sacrifice one a week, Woody.
All
right, Michael. I'll see you on Wednesday if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Be good. One more quick thing. Your wife is okay? Everything is okay with Kristen?
She's recovering beautifully. She's tough.
Good. All right. Then I leave you with the request for peace, love, and Manischewitz.
And I'll tell you that as wines go, it's quite a wine.
See you, Mikey.
See you.
Thank you all for listening too. We'll catch up with you on Wednesday morning at 10:10.
Wednesday as wacky as it can be. See you.
I have a feeling it'll be a wacky one. Have a good one.